that this company is successful is not because of the ownership, it's because of the depth of the management team. We have all been in the business for numerous years, and I can honestly say that I think the management team of this company is the strongest of any company in the country. We are great believers in organized real estate, we're great believers in education. My belief is that you listen to those that have the experience. We all have spent many hours contributing to organized real estate and having a say in which way the industry goes, and that leadership is imparted to our agents on a daily basis. I've had the pleasure of being involved in organized real estate for over 40 years, which is somewhat hard to believe for me. I began back in the 70s. I was president of the Toronto Real Estate Board. I moved from there to the Ontario Real Estate Association, where I was president. I moved forward after that. In '97, I was president of the Canadian Real Estate Association. I still sit on committees today. After my stint with the Canadian Real Estate Association, I was lucky enough to be chosen one of the inaugural directors of the Real Estate Council of Ontario, which is the governing body, as you know. And I was chairman of that organization as well. Currently, I sit on the CREA Foundation, which is a very rewarding experience. And as I say, it's been over 40 years that I've been giving back to the industry.
For the past 7 years or so, I've been on the arbitration committee, and I started working with the panels. The past 4 years, I've been a vice chair of arbitration, though I also spent 1 year as a vice chair of professional standards. I sit on several steering committees and subcommittees at the Toronto Real Estate Board also.
My first taste in organized real estate working for the education committee at the Ontario Real Estate Association. From there I sat on the leadership committee at TREB, and it was there that I recognized that being part of organized real estate was actually a really interesting thing. I put my name forward to run as a director, and I was elected 2 years ago as a director at large for the Toronto Real Estate Board. And this past year I ran for president-elect. So that means that not this year, but next year I'll be the president of the Toronto Real Estate Board.
I started being interested in organized real estate when I became a member of the arbitration committee at the Toronto Real Estate Board. That was great. I did that for a number of years, went on to chair that committee twice. I then became a member of the Toronto Board and went on from there to become president of the Toronto Board. After that, I began with the Canadian Real Estate Association. I was on their Competition Bureau Task Force, which was tremendously interesting at the time. I then went from there to be a member of their board, and eventually I was president of CREA.
I've been a volunteer at different levels of organized real estate for the past, at least 25 years at the Toronto Real Estate Board, my local board, at the Ontario Real Estate Association. I've been on, countless different committees. The ones that stand out for me are, I spent over a dozen years on the Ethics Committee at the Toronto Real Estate Board. I'm currently vice chair of the Arbitration Committee at TREB, and I'm a past chair of that committee as well. And I've just finished up 6 years as a director at the Real Estate Council of Ontario, which is the regulator that looks after the education and ethics and discipline of all the real estate people in Ontario. And I was 2 years, during that 6 years, I was 2 years as the chair of the organization, the Real Estate Council.
Since the mid-90s, I've sat as a case presenter for the Toronto Real Estate Board, as well as a panel member for the Professional Standards Committees at the Toronto Real Estate Board. And from 2001 until now, I currently sit as Vice Chair of Ethics for the Real Estate Council of Ontario.
I was first elected to the Board of Directors of the Toronto Real Estate Board in 1999 and served on the board for several years. Was elected President for the year 2010-2011, and I'm currently a Director of the Canadian Real Estate Association.
I think it's very rewarding. I'm a great believer in giving back to the community and giving back to the industry. Some people know that my grandfather was one of the founding members of the Toronto Real Estate Board and the Ontario Association. My father was a president of Toronto, my uncle was a president of Toronto, my uncle was a president of CREA. I guess in some ways it was just meant to be from a family perspective. I think the greatest benefit to it is having a say in where the industry goes, but also you meet so many wonderful, wonderful people in this industry, and I have friends around the world because of serving organized real estate.
When I first got into real estate, I did it just to learn more. I thought it was a great idea to get out there and volunteer my time so that I would be able to learn more about the industry. I keep doing it because I really feel like it lets me be at the leading edge of real estate. You get to see what's happening, what people are doing, the innovations, the new ideas that are out there. I'd much rather be a leader than following along in someone else's footsteps, and that's why I keep doing it.
Yeah, I do it for a number of reasons. I mean, this is a great opportunity to look at the real estate business from a 50,000 foot level, to look down and see how things are actually happening. I think a lot of agents are working very locally. They know about their city or about their neighborhoods, but they don't really get the big picture. And I find this is a really great opportunity to see what's going on, to see trends, to see industry news, to talk to other agents who work in different markets all around Canada and of course across the world. And I take that information and I bring it back to the people that work for my company.
It's another outlet in real estate. I've done a lot of, real estate's a fascinating career to me. I started out in sales and then I was in management, then I became a board member, eventually board president. It gives another element to your job. It gives you an incredible amount of knowledge to impart to your salespeople. It keeps you in the forefront of everything that's going on. It makes you part of the decisions, not reacting to decisions you don't like. So there are any number of reasons, not the least of which you meet fantastic people. The CREA board was a tremendous experience, really a great experience.
I volunteer to give back to my industry, to my profession, and it's fun. I feel I take away a lot more than I contribute in the sense that I am aware of upcoming trends, best practices in the industry, the do's and don'ts, and I'm able to take that back to my office and my company and share it with the agents, who in turn can up their abilities and expertise in the field.
I do it because I think being aware of the rules and the regulations and knowing what is changing in the industry and to be on top of that, it keeps me on top of my game, and it makes me more knowledgeable in the industry.
Reason number one is you get to meet some of the best people in the real estate brokerage business nationally and internationally. Number two, I think it's really important to give back to the profession that you're involved in. And number three, it's an awful lot of fun.